Guys, don't be fooled by fraudsters. Ripple is on track, whether you believe it or not. Now, I will try to present some facts leading towards that and future expected price of XRP based on my research. Now here, Stuart is actually pointing out this: if Swift handles 5 trillion a day, that can actually lead XRP towards $295 per XRP. But I will say this, say that 5 trillion doesn't cover everything worldwide. Just the Federal Reserve is processing $14 trillion a day. That's on a regular day, right? And about the low value payment area, I'll always say Ripple is on track because I completely agree with David here. On this note, he is correct. And I think they are, kind of transparent and truthful to themselves and to everyone else from the beginning. And this is a document which I really want to show you. I will show you the reasons why I think this is going to happen. Now, this is from Earthport, and as an XRP holder, you would be familiar with this name, over which Visa and MasterCard fought. Two giants actually fought for this. Okay, so in this one, if we actually move into page number 7, you actually get this. So moving towards page, you get this, right? On the right hand side, it shows the remittance market, which is, one piece of the whole low value payment cake. Next, if you look at the bottom, it's e-commerce, which was, $900 billion back in 2012. Now, after 8 years, it's around $3.5 trillion. So you can see the growth there and increasing. It's still increasing. So that's another piece of the low value payment cake. Then, if you look at the top side of that, you can see small and medium enterprises payments. So that is kind of, the picture is kind of getting clear and clear. So if you actually move into page number 6 and look at the 4 major category, it's remittance, e-commerce, payroll, and supplier payments. So it should be clear by now. If not, I'll take you to page number 5. And here it is clear. For these low value payments, Swift is not cost efficient or fast enough. So now we'll have to actually move into page number 10. So you can see this. Wow. This is the capability stated 8 years back. And their vision was towards 2020. Wow. Because that vision is now turning into reality. If you remember the statements from Canadian central bankers, then you'll understand what these are really, what this means. Because for me, that's kind of directing towards, better clarity. In this file, when you come down, you can see this. This is kind of Swift thing. That's really bad for me. But this is a better way. They are asking with a question mark. You can see that better way. Now, for anyone who look at this one and see, oh, it's kind of, complex. They make it kind of complex to make money. But this is simple, fast, and cost efficient. So that's the way where, the financial institutions are actually going. So this is what they are looking at. And as per what I understand, this is what is being implemented on the background. And you can also see that. So it's not only in the background, it's also in the forefront. So come on, the scientific investor family should actually ignite their brains here. Let it work. You'll understand this, that the fraudsters are just trying to push you away. Now, yes, I'll give you more facts. Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Now, you'll actually get more facts and more information, more clear perspective from here. Now, we'll go on to play this one, because from there, I'll actually, take the entire scientific family towards the right direction, right perspective based on my views.
Using the tools that we have, which we believe will be best targeted to the risks that we see likely to develop in the near future. That is liquidity risk, that is an interruption or significant slowdown of the credit flow to the economy, and the financial excessive sensitivities that we see at the moment, which create instability. And we are trying to address these 3 risks with the 3 tools that I have just mentioned. Unlimited and generous access to liquidity, number one. Considerably more attractive targeted long-term refinancing operation, particularly for these small and medium-sized enterprises.
You see, the small and medium enterprises are not neglected. Anyway, but that's not only the main thing here. If you actually listen to all of those, the key points here, as she highlights, is that they have issues and they are looking to use tools which will likely provide them liquidity issues. They will solve the liquidity risk using a new tool, and then they will solve the slow movement of credit using a new tool. Wow, now that's from Eurozone, right? And why they are actually doing this? If you come at the beginning, you can see something here, and which is kind of looking the similar situation in US too. So if the Eurozone is actually implementing this, chances are that US will also actually go in the same direction.
Expect any central bank to be the line of first response. It's fiscal first and foremost. Okay.
Yep, for any central banks. Anyway, so that kind of points you towards that stimulus, right? So for the stimulus movement, the flow of credit, they are actually looking at this. And they also correctly explains that they will be giving more stimulus for small and medium enterprises. Now, when we see that, you will be confused. No, that's like government to business payment, right? Not business to business, not peer to peer. Now, yes, if I go on to try clarify all this, it would be kind of confusing. I know it sounds, this kind of technical financial stuff, but if you go through this book, it kind of gives you a clear picture. It's not that complicated, but still, if you are new to the finance accounting, that area, then it looks kind of complicated. But this books give you kind of a better overview. Now, yes, I don't have anything to do with this book or the author, no funding. They don't give me anything. Just I was reading that and I had that information, so I just gave you that. Now, based on that, if you actually look at it perspective, in correct perspective, you'll understand one thing. It's not only liquidity they are looking at, it's also the movement of value. We just showed you, right, how it moves through SWIFT. And just in US area, they are processing 14 trillion. Now, if you look at Eurozone, it will be, say, at least half of that. Euro is not that bad, right? Now, that's stimulus part, right? If you come here and see nations, central banks or monetary authorities are actually using this technology to provide stimulus, to provide that liquidity into the market. They're pushing liquidity. Now, yes, US is, kind of democracy, you can say, whereas Gulf countries are ruled by king, right? So they don't have to go to, get all those approval. If they know that this technology is going to provide better experience for their citizens, they will provide that. There won't be like the Democrats, Republics thing which come into play, stop the good things. So this is an example. It is actually happening. They are using this technology to provide that liquidity, that stimulus into the banking sector. Now, that's not only that. If you listen here, this one, in the beginning, the Bank of International Settlement guy actually talks like, cryptocurrencies, that doesn't have the real value. It doesn't do that all purpose, blah, 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 blah. But when you come to this part of that video, you'll get something.
Blockchain can be very powerful for many alternative applications, like, for example, in settlement systems, in keeping settlements of financial transactions, so some back office applications. So I think the technology by itself should be embraced, and we should see what the uses of that technology should be.
Now, even though he stated there is a lot of application, he only stated settlement. So it's like the entertainment industry. If you are going into movies, they'll say entertainment. Here, it's settlement. So in order to do that, what's happening, right? Banks are doing majority of the transactions. So the banks have to have this infrastructure to do this. Now, the government, say for example in US, tried to push the stimulus through the other way, and it took a lot of time to reach the citizen, right? So they suffered. So the next time when they are doing this, for sure they'll try to use a new infrastructure.
XRP will continue to see that ecosystem grow and be healthier and healthier.
Do you have an outlook or an aspiration or ambition as to how many institutions you hope will be using this token to facilitate these real-world transactions by, say, the end of the year or even the end of next year?
Well, I've publicly stated that by the end of this year, I have every confidence that major banks will use XRapid as a liquidity tool this calendar year. By the end of next year, I would certainly hope that we would see, in the order of magnitude, dozens. But, we also need to continue to grow that ecosystem, grow the liquidity. And it all comes back to, if we're solving a real problem for real customers, there's so many different examples in this space. There's ICOs where I don't really understand the problem the token is solving. And so those are ones where I'm very skeptical about what the future of that value looks like.
When some of the scientific investor family members asks, which alternative coin should I invest? This is what I also think. The last 5 seconds of which Brad stated, you don't even understand what the problem they are solving. In the same sense, if I don't see a coin which is solving some problem in the real life, I don't see any value in that. So that's why I told you, personally, I look at XRP, I'm happy with that. I look at XLM, it's okay. XDC, it's kind of okay. Then there are coins which, give some kind of use cases, say for example, which solves like Cardano and all. But considering the entire crypto market, that's thousands of coins. It's all going to go away, and that's for sure. So if you're not invested in the right category, you may lose your money, that's for sure. Anyway, now coming in the first part of this one, he actually told that banks will be using this, right? And then he told dozens of banks will be using this. So if you have actually watched a recent interview with Greg Kidd, you'll actually understand. They actually calculated this. Now the Nostro, now jumping from here to here, if you have a confusion, they are talking about banks here. And banks are those who have this Nostro, Vostro money, the dormant capital shit thing. We all know that, right? So in that aspect, if they have already done the calculation to replace that with XRP, they would be having an idea where the price of XRP would be going in future. And that's why they are so bullish in this. And if they are bullish with doing all this hard work, I should be double bullish because I'm not doing any hard work. They are doing everything for me. At least I'm happy with that. Now, the next thing what you have to say is, this is the reason one, right? Ripple is on track on opening up new corridors. And by that time, you can see Western Union is coming out and stating towards Brazil, come to us, we are going to give you 0 fee transfers. Why? Otherwise, they can't survive. If you actually see, Ripple is banging on every different corridors, working with central banks. If the regulations are going to be announced soon, they can't even compete because here they are announcing till 30th. Now, if they have to survive, they'll have to give the entire service free for the entire life. So they'll go bankrupt. Otherwise, they'll have to adopt fintech. Why I actually say this? There are recent opinions which I actually saw from different guys who are, reputable, established guys. This is from Ginger. And, he's Tom. He states this: if traditional banks can update their legacy systems or partner with fintechs, I think they have a chance to survive. Meaning, otherwise, they won't be surviving. This is another guy from Nets Group. He states, we haven't really seen the Uber of the banking space yet. So that is coming. That is coming. Keep that in mind. Note it down. It is coming. So if you wait in the same industry, if you're investing here for 10, 20 years, you will be there to see that. And this is from another guy stating, I clearly see the persistence of a trade-off balancing act between desire of fantastic frictionless user experience and industry security requirements. Now that is pointing towards, say for example, when we are considering Ripple, we are looking at regulations in one side and the providing best customer experience on the other side. So that's kind of being a trade-off, and they're trying to balance it. And here, that this opinion, it's kind of perfect. With the introduction of real-time payments around the world, the payments landscape has started to change drastically. And that can be directly connected back to this one because, say for example, the real-time payments, businesses can actually wait, say 1 minute, 2 minutes, 1 day. Yeah, they're kind of okay with that. Mostly it's those who buy things, say for example in e-commerce, or say you're sending money to your loved one. They will be waiting it to receive that in this 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Otherwise, they will be checking their bank account, mobile bank in the wallet every 5 minutes whether the fund is reached, right? So that is the area currently which has to be given most concentration, and Ripple is doing that. And just after those announcement, you can see this 800 million XRP was moved from one of the OTC wallet, which was kind of, staying calm from December 2019. So that's actually put out by Andres. I appreciate that. Then this one from Macarak XRP, you can see Swiss Bank is adding this as assets for investing. Wow. What you have to consider here is it's not only the real use case, but these institutions and institutional investors are seeing the value in these assets for their utility. Bitcoin, because it was the first one and it's being seen as the store of value, and majority are going into that. And yes, there is a lot of libertarians, the liberal point of view that we don't need government, we don't need bank, I'll keep my money, I don't need government. So that aspect is still there. So in that perspective, you can understand this is being announced. Now, XRP Bully actually pointed this out from Yahoo Finance, which shows that Fidelity says a third of big institutions own crypto assets. That statement from Fidelity is huge one for me, considering this, because the banks are actually going in and they are investing on this. So if there is a real value provided, I believe I'm fully agreeing with the statements made by Brad. If they are really solving some problem, there is value. And if these guys are investing in this, they are kind of value investors for long term, right? And then you are selling it here. That's the foolish thing ever you can do. Why I say that? Because keep in mind, they are keeping the price low as possible and buying it, accumulating it at this point. So when the price skyrockets, they will be selling. And who will be buying? Those who didn't buy here will be trying to catch up with the pump. So these guys, along with some of us who have the brains working, running, they will sell a little bit as the price appreciates, right? So other guys who want to buy it at that time, they will be buying it from us. I'm happy to do that. And what about you? I'm requesting you guys, if you like the content, do hit that like button and the subscribe button along with the bell notification icon.